Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
My Deb was like, "Oh, you need to be more in touch with your feminine side," and so I brought up something that she did 4 years ago and held it against her. And so,
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast. End of story. That every week we choose a popular saying, we take an admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, if we're lucky, educational dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins, where it came from, what it's all about, how old it is. How are you today?
I'm amazing. I feel like it's been a while, even though I know it's only been a week.
I know.
But it is nice to connect.
It just gets busy this time of year, and
it's the summer, man. It's been so hot and beautiful, and BC's on fire, probably.
I'm grateful for the commitment of weekly recording just to stay connected with you.
Absolutely.
Probably. It's on fire every summer.
Episode 185, BC is always on fire in the summer.
It is always on fire.
It's like our lot in life.
It's not a lot, but it's our life.
It's our life. I'm good. I'm skinny.
I'm Jurassic Mark, and we'll also use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on.
It's good. It's so good. It's so
good.
Probably one of the things that I know we appreciate most about just forcing ourselves to get together once a week.
Yeah, just so we can
keep in touch.
I'll keep in touch.
Keep in touch.
Keep in touch. It's a great way to keep in touch. And we love keeping in touch with you. It's funny how you can say, like in generalization, like we enjoy keeping in touch with all the podcast listeners, but you can't be specific.
You can't be specific. What do you mean?
Like, I enjoy keeping in touch with the 30-year-old ladies.
No, yeah, you're right. You can't be specific.
I enjoy keeping in touch with, the 16-year-old boys out there.
No, I think maybe no more examples is good too.
It's just a general.
But you can say a specific person who happens to be a 16-year-old boy. You're like, oh, I like keeping in touch with Tom.
Tom is good. You can say that.
He's 16 and he's a boy. Then it gets weird. Specifics are weird.
So in general, we enjoy keeping in touch. So make sure you reach out to us throughout the summer. We like hearing. What are you up to? What's your plans?
Yeah, what are you doing?
This sort of thing. What's happening?
Stay in touch. Today we're talking about keep in touch, which is a direct order. Staying in touch, same meaning, but staying in touch is something you'll do, but keep in touch is something you say to someone. Keep in touch.
Keep in touch. Well, it's funny how when you start doing a little poking and prodding, and how many times the word touch is used in sport.
Fair enough, yeah.
It was
touch football.
Touch football.
Touchdown.
Wow. Soccer has the touch. First touch. The way that you absorb the pass or the ball is your first touch. He had a bad first touch. That's why.
In chess, if you touch the piece, you're moving it.
In tennis, it's you will default on the point if you touch the net.
I notice sometimes you're touchy.
I love hugging.
Well, see, that's funny that's how you interpreted that. Because usually, that guy's a little touchy.
Oh, not that. No, that's
like
not good. That put me out in Creepersville. But no,
not even that. I mean,
love you, man.
No, I mean, like, don't talk to me now. I'm a little touchy. Like,
that kind of touchy. That's not good either.
No, but that's funny that you went. I love a good hug. Like that says something about your nature.
Oh, it's yeah.
Like you can't even hear. I
feel like I just passed the test that I didn't know I was taking.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that makes me feel. There is actually I came across it in my. It's a hafebophobia. Hafebophobia is an intense
fear of February.
Is an intense, irrational fear of being touched.
Oh,
hafebophobia. Hafebophobia.
A fear of.
Yeah, an intense
not just
fear.
A dislike.
No, it said an intense, irrational fear of being touched.
Interesting. I think my hamster has that.
Well, you know how some people are just like huggers.
Yeah, unless they have a hebophobia.
If you're hafebophobic.
Is it hafeb?
It's H-A-P-H, so I'm going to go half. It's not H-A-L-F.
What if you're only hafebophobia half the time?
You're quartophobic.
You're half a hephophobe.
What'd you call me? I'm not the hephophobe I used to be. I'm growing out of it.
You're not half the hephophobe you used to be. That's great.
Well, I don't know. I just think there's something powerful about just giving somebody a hug, letting them know you love them.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's a premise. Let's just assume that people suck 80% of the time.
All right. Good assumption.
Okay, and we're maybe not on our game, and it's just like, oh, that sucks. Okay, and they're maybe not feeling it. But you know when someone's just like, man, appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, you love that guy.
So
there's something about bringing that.
For those of you
person
not
in.
watching, every one of those comments he made, he touched me different ways, like big hand on the shoulder.
Make it weird.
No, hand on the shoulder, slap on the back, and then half hug around the shoulders.
Side hug, for sure.
So they're a mutual friend of ours. One of the first times he came to town, he actually ended up being our boss now, but not right now. But
I hug that guy all the time.
right. So good friends,
Yeah.
good boss, everything's great. But the first time he came to visit,
You tried to hug him?
He was speaking at something, and he did the. Afterwards, we were kind of get to know him. He was a visiting speaker I think he was at a youth night or something.
Okay.
And he came up to me and did a big hand on the shoulder. How you doing, man? Like, good to see you.
Oh man, I love that.
And
I'm energized right now.
I was like put off by it. I've told him about it. This. Isn't if he's listening.
What is wrong with you?
So it wasn't because it wasn't a hey buddy. In my brain, it was a
Just starting
power move. It was an alpha male power move, like I was a child. And I'm like, don't touch me. I didn't say anything. I was rolled with it, but
Oh no, you want to weird him back? You just lean into it. You're
Just
like, yeah,
crotch grab.
oh yeah, and then you just start rubbing his shoulder back and just like, yeah.
yeah. So
And then-
so
and
I
that'll
don't
be
have
the last time he does that.
Fear of touch, but there's some touch where I'm like, don't do that.
Well, of
Don't do
course.
that.
Well, if it's inappropriate outside,
But that
of
wasn't inappropriate. It wasn't his bad. It was me going.
well, particularly dudes.
You're not in charge of me.
Well, you're feeling like you got mounted like a like a puppy or something. Like he came up right behind you and put you over a post
It
or
was just.
something.
It was assertive. It was.
It's friendly.
It was. Yeah. Is my mistake. 100%. Now that I know him, it was like.
Yeah, but that's
You've never walked into a room where you're like, oh, that guy's the alpha male, and I'm not befriending.
Every time I walk into the room, I'm like, that's the alpha male.
When you look at your own reflection.
I don't think that stuff is so stupid.
It is stupid, but my male brain went there where I'm like, nope, not today, Satan. Get your hand off me. Not that I'm rarely the alpha male in the room, just for the record. But
Well, if you ever enjoyed crafts in your life, you're probably not the alpha male.
that's unfair. That's unfair. If you've ever found sequins in your laundry,
If you're saying things like, that's unfair, you're probably not the alpha male.
if you're addicted to Diet Coke, probably not.
If you have Lululemon pants, you're not the alpha male. If you wear Uggs,
Oh man, if you
Not
enjoy
the alpha male.
scrapbooking,
not the alpha male.
all right, fine. Go ahead, hand shoulder me.
Buddy.
All right.
Yeah. But there are people that like actually turn like stiff, like body stiff, like like
you go to
when
hug?
Yeah, dudes that are not into it. I don't know if their dad beat them or if they're like you're breaking down their alpha maleness.
Hugging is a funny thing. Like, not everybody. I mean, I don't mean like a hephebophobe, but a hephebophobe.
A phebophobe.
But some people just like. But somehow you've been granted grace by just going, come here, I'm a hugger. I don't care.
Well, it's not like I just met you and I'm hugging. It's got to be
Some
particular.
people are though, like, come here, I'm a hugger. I'm
Well,
like, I don't know you.
I have to be like so in my particular.
And why do
thing-
people go, hey, can I give you a hug? You're not giving me anything. Like, I'm giving you something. You want a hug.
Okay,
I'm the one giving it. You want a hug. Can I just give you a hug?
I've been
No.
man rejected before.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it's like, hey man, hug it out. No, I'm good. High five, handshake, fist bump, and people will fold just to get something. But there's something about that contact,
Yeah. It's gotta
that
be
touch.
something.
It's that touch. Keep in touch.
Yeah. Is that pre-pandemic though, or during pandemic? Don't hug me.
If you're still fired up about it, it's I don't know. during the pandemic, it's like, oh no, you looked at me. Now I got the Rose. Didn't have to touch somebody. You have to be in the same airspace. Within 12 feet.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing hugging back.
yeah, I don't know.
Outside
that
of the
I don't know
lawsuits?
that it left. Did it leave?
Yeah.
You'll win the lawsuits, though.
Well,
I've seen your hugs. They're never longer than 10, 11 seconds.
no. After that, it gets weird.
Right.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
count and I count it,
specifically between 10 and 11.
and I count it right in their ear.
1,000.
2 Mississippi. 3. Do you miss me?
That's beautiful.
4 MISSISS.
It's getting every second longer than the one before.
It's the breathiness that really does it.
Anyway,
So yeah, keep it in touch.
keep in touch. All right, that's what we're talking about.
Afraid I forgot. Well, it's good. There has to be. How many times do you give somebody before that whole I keep in touch? Like, do you get one free rejected phone call, 2 free rejected phone calls, 3 where you're just like, this person doesn't want to deal with me anymore?
See, I'm the wrong person to ask. Because
Are you a 70 times 7 kind of person? You just keep going?
No, I don't care enough. I probably wouldn't be reaching out that much or care if that person reached out to me.
If they never called me back ever.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't feel the same if I was short on friends and just lonely. Like if I moved across the country and made no friends, I'd be pretty sad if nobody returned my calls, I guess. But I don't know. I'm pretty just independent with my own family and things. That
It would take one day. I think I could make 4 friends in one day.
You could make friends.
Yeah.
Like new location. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, boom.
Maybe that's the difference. Is I'll meet somebody. There'll be people hanging out. And
Yeah, there's
work, church, and stores.
I think people appreciate the initiation. Like, they might not necessarily know how to handle it, but I just actually don't believe that people are intended to be isolated.
Totally.
And
agree with that
premise.
So go back to your question though, like how long, like when you say keep in touch, it's a two-way street. Like you can't just say keep in touch and it's up to that person. Like if you are, I've had this where friend moves away, whatever, and I've just gotten busy with regular life.
Sure.
And they've been actually upset with me that I haven't reached out. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like there is no ill will at all. But at the same time in my head, I'm going, you could have just called me. Like,
I guess, but it's like if you were like, I don't know, coworkers with somebody 15 years and they never like called you back or whatever, and the only way that they would engage with you is if you came to their place and filmed the podcast, then
no, I can't relate. I guess that's the difference between you and me. But you are a keep in toucher kind of guy. Like I know
stars. I blacked out a bit.
I know mutual friends of ours that have moved away that you've gone to visit, that you pick up the phone and when they come to town, they call you first. Like you're good at this. You're good at relationships.
People, but you're a people lover.
I am. I'm just not.
You're a people lover.
I'm just not that initiator. Like, oh, they moved away 6 months ago, and I haven't even said, "Hey, how's the move?" I'm terrible. Once they're out of sight, out of mind,
You're dead to me.
Like I have no friends from high school unless they show up and record with me. Also true.
It's tricky. Well, that's also different phases of life and children and
that's
stuff.
what I mean. Yeah, like life just moved on, and so
You got to put in the effort, man.
I think I'm one of those.
Don't be
like,
a hefephobe.
Like febophobe. If somebody moved away and came back, I would pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like the relationship has dwindled in my mind. It'd be like, so glad you're here. Let's have a
Glad we
hang
had
out.
that pause, so now I can collect some stories to tell you.
Yeah, that's
Sheer an optimist. I love it.
exactly.
Well, it's I did come across this fantastic joke.
Give it to me.
I read off the internet that I wanted to pass along.
Is this an Ed Sheeran joke?
No.
Because remember weeks and weeks ago, that one was...
No. Why did the psychic chicken cross the road?
Why did the psychic chicken cross the road?
To keep in touch with the other side.
That's... You had to look that one up? You didn't make that up?
No.
I feel like-
I thought it was clever. Because it's like this bond over time and space. It's a chicken joke.
I get it.
But it's kind of like
It's a psychic joke.
Well, you think it's a little like a culty or something?
No.
Oh, you believe in all that psychic stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Keep in touch with the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Keep in touch with the other side. That's a very existential joke. Somebody was telling me that the chicken who crossed the road.
We did an escape room
I can tell
together.
you my sentence
and
later.
Part of the thing that you wouldn't do as part of the clues in the room was there was a Ouija board in the room, and you're like, I'd rather not solve it.
Yep, I'm not legitimately keeping in touch with the other side.
I'm not even going to touch it as a prop.
I'm like, I don't mind the joke. It didn't bother me.
You were prepared to throw away our $25 sessions
at an
escape room.
I don't want to like, hey, we solved it.
Yes, we did.
Suddenly have a new family member that only I can hear because I touched the Ouija board.
You're not keeping in touch with that. You're not keeping in touch with that other side.
No.
Fair enough.
No.
There you go.
Ugh, it gives me the heebie-weegies just thinking about it.
My Deb was like, "Oh, you need to be more in touch with your feminine side," and so I brought up something that she did 4 years ago and held it against her. And so I'm kidding. You know, misogyny is not funny. Which brings you to our sponsor, HelloFresh.
HelloFresh. Why go grocery shopping when the groceries can come to you?
Dinner is solved.
Dinner is solved. And what good dinners they are. Right after this podcast, I'm making cheesy enchiladas.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
If you like cultural cuisine, HelloFresh.
Did you just add the word cult again?
Cultural.
Oh, cultural. Other side.
Made with chicken bones and bat wings.
Okay. Well, HelloFresh. If you'd like a week's free trial of HelloFresh, we'd be happy to give that to you. Just reach out. We'll give you the coordinates a little later on where you can keep in touch with us.
Absolutely. Well, we should probably head into where this thing actually came from.
You didn't Wait, did you go on your trip yet?
Oh, you had a story to share. Continue.
Wow, I have no idea. Have you been? This is when I
you don't want to share it. That's fine.
When I say I'm bad at keeping in touch, I can't even remember if you've been on your trip or if you're about to go on your trip.
No, I'm in the latter portions of my trip right now.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So, are you keeping in touch? I mean, we're recording.
Well, kind of.
Long distance podcasting.
Well, it's a good thing.
Keep in touch.
Holograms.
Right. What was that?
Holograms.
Holograms. All right. Well, let's take a little peek into the wonderful world of origins.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind.
All right, well, as everybody knows, to keep in touch is to remain in contact with someone regardless of time or distance or whatever. So...
Or time and distance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they're not, like, exclusive. It could be the same.
So you're equating time with...
It could be both.
Space.
It's possible.
Is this a keep in quantum touch?
It's interesting.
In touch is... So this is how I saw a few definitions, or not definitions, but a few origin stories of this that all meant the same thing, but I liked this one best. So this is one of those copy and paste days. In touch is naturally the opposite of out of touch. So here's an idiom we won't cover because they work hand in hand.
Wow.
But
Hall & Oates.
If you say you're out of touch with something,
I'm out of time.
then you've lost contact with something. But usually we use it a little bit differently, like, hey, do you know this song? No, you're a little out of touch. Like you've
not with the jam.
You're not up to speed on any given subject. You're out of touch. But you also use it in the exact same way. Like, hey, how is Mr. and Mrs. Smith doing? Oh, I don't know. Actually, we lost touch. We've been out of touch for 3 years. So it's the opposite. So the reason I bring all that up, go ahead. You're going to say something.
No, I was just, I'm like bursting with Hall & Oates.
You're
out of touch.
It's good that you thought of that song because when it comes to riddling, I almost had a Divinals riddling.
Whoa!
Do you know the song I'm referring to? When I think about you, you don't know that song?
No,
because you're out of touch with the '80s.
I have an invisible touch. That's what Phil Collins told me.
All right. Well, you'll have to look up the Divinals song.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll recognize it. I'm just not a good enough singer. So if you're out of touch with the situation, you've lost contact with it, blah, blah, blah. The comparison seems obvious, but the saying has its roots in actual touching, believe it or not. So in the 18th century, military drills required every soldier to be within touching distance of the men on either side, like shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, wow.
You had to brush arms when marching. That's how close you had to be.
Was that at night?
Maybe that was why the practice was invented, but it doesn't go into that. But you had to be shoulder to shoulder, like your arms are brushing as you're marching. That's how close you march. So you are in touch with the men on either side of you. And if you were not doing that, you were deemed out of touch.
That's interesting.
So yeah,
this is actually interesting.
Right? So on a personal basis, family, friends, whoever, they keep in touch by writing, by phone calls, emails, blah, 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 visits. And it means to stay involved in someone's life. Don't let long periods go by without staying in touch. But it comes from these soldier drills, and it was an idiom. So obviously, soldiers who left the military would use it because it was drilled into them so hard. Stay in touch. Keep in touch. Stay in touch. With every march they went on. It's like, oh, buddy, you're out of touch. Get in here. It's keeping people close.
You know, like normally, it's just idiocy on top of moronicness. But I actually feel that was educational.
Right? I didn't expect it to be a physical thing.
That's crazy. They used to think that like crabs would... that was a method of communication, before like modern science and them actually figuring it out. But that rubbing against each other was a form of how they communicated. But then, like more,
I think that's most animals, isn't it?
No, but
rubbing against each other is a way to communicate,
particularly with crabs. But then, with more modern discoveries, we found that they use shell phones. Which is the modern communication between crabs.
You know where I thought that joke was going? Because they thought that crabs would communicate by rubbing themselves against each other. It turns out it's when people rub against each other, they get crabs. That's where I thought you were going.
No, it's PG, man. Oh man,
not crabs. It's just a delicacy.
Thing. Next.
You don't like crab meat?
Those are soft shell.
Well, that's all I got. It's a short but sweet, but an actual,
it's actually
distinctive origin story. So I always like those best.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And it wasn't just like something someone wrote once and it stuck. It was like, oh, this was drilled into people.
Right.
Yeah. Stay in touch.
Lose contact. I guess that would really.
And probably, I bet you that's how it did start. When, as men would leave their precinct, is that what they called it?
I don't know.
Battalion.
Well, I'm sure
they would literally say, stay in touch.
The advent of like modern communication devices and like headphone type thing, you could not actually be physically touching, but still be in touch.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It
like
makes
VR goggles.
It's really helpful. It's like we're in a battle and you're playing Beat Saber. Stop it.
My son just got, what's the big one? What's the meta one?
Oculus.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's like I'm tempted. I am tempted.
I'm just old school, man. All I see talk about cult.
Did I show you the video of me boxing with Mr. T on the Creed VR thing?
No, this sounds amazing. But
it was intimidating.
I'm already out.
Okay, I was sweating. Like I was so into it. And there's another thing where
here you are, like pushing the health advantages of.
This is too long of a story. I'll tell you off air, but. Where I went to lean on the chair that isn't really there and tipped over.
This whole thing is about keeping in touch. Meanwhile, you're by yourself fighting Mr. T against fake coaches. I think you're missing the point.
Keep in touch.
Keep in touch by Weird Al. All right. Well, I guess we are really running out of time. So
my Lanta.
Let's get into the fun stuff.
Here we go.
I said some words. Where'd they go?
Oh, wait.
Where'd they go?
Did I just loop back?
I turned around and looked behind.
This is the origins.
Wait. So this is quite interesting, actually. So in touch is naturally the opposite of out of touch. And there's an idiom we're not going to have to do because they go hand in hand. But out of touch is actually used a little bit differently. So you might say you're out of touch because, like, hey, have you heard the song? No, I guess you're out of touch with current songs. But sorry about that. How long should I go on for? Let's do this one instead. All right, Riddlink is a game we like to play. It takes two-part trivia-based question. Requires a two-part overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, word, or words. So, for example, last week, which seems forever ago, we did the idiom loose cannon. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. Not Nick Cannon, loose cannon. Mm-hmm. And we left you with this one. An unpredictable person in a chase with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise.
That's fantastic. Well, it's got to be a loose cannon ball run.
That's it, and that's how you play Riddling. So we had loose cannon
man,
and
I haven't
cannonball
seen
run.
that in a long time.
Oh, so good. I haven't either.
That's good stuff.
I wonder if it is still good. In my head, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fair enough.
So I got a couple more for today.
I've got a couple. Let's dive into it here. I'll go first.
All right.
Okay. Please stay connected while passing the no-contact pigskin. One more time. Please stay connected while passing the no-contact pigskin.
That's funny. So I guess that would be, I said it earlier, it would be Keep in Touch football.
There it is.
Keep in Touch football. That's great. Okay, well, I got one.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yep.
I'm going to do this one. Remain connected with family like a football goal.
No.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
One more time.
Remain connected with family like a football goal.
I'm going to go with keep in touchdown.
That's it. So it's a little different.
Yeah. Okay, I'm on it. I'm pretty sure you don't have this one. Okay. This type of coffee cream is for people with the fear of touching.
Oh, great. Oh, my goodness. This type of...
Illegitimate children, chime in. This type of coffee cream is for people with the fear of touching.
Is it Nescafe?
You might get a quarter of this, or...
Nescafe.
You might get 2 quarters of this, actually.
Nescafebophobe?
Nope.
Coffee cream. Coffee cream.
Yeah.
There's different types. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Well, you might get a portion of this.
Half. Something half. Oh, half and half-ebophobe? Oh, I got it. Half and half. Oh, half and half-ebophobe.
That's it.
Half and half-ebophobe. Oh, man, that was great.
Awesome.
I got one more, but let's leave it dangling out there.
You can reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom. Village Children. We love hearing from you. Email us at thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTubes, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
So this one is for the Gen X's or older.
Hello.
It goes like this. Staying in contact with friends who came out after the rotary phone. Staying in contact with friends who came out after the rotary phone.
And that is 3 Minutes Gone. I got that one already. That's a good one.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's fine.
So there you go.
That'll work. Well, I think I think I've got it together, but for some of our illegitimate children, I won't be specific on ages or genders, but some of them, like if you're...
What does gender have to do with it? A rotary phone?
Oh, just
everybody
ages
use it.
Yeah. Of course. No, I was referring back. I was doing a callback to the earlier being specific thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, keep in touch.
Keep in touch. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Skinny.
I'm Jurassic Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Yeah, there's a little chatter here. You got phone, you got Skype, you got FaceTime. Just let them know you love them. Or...
Just keep in touch.
That's 3 minutes gone.